Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Like we had yesterday, we've got another top 5 for you. Unlike yesterday, where we was very, well, I say unlike. Yesterday, we was actually very surprised at pretty much the whole list of the best performing tanks in the game. So this time we're going to look at the worst performing tanks in the game. Now yesterday we didn't see above tier 3. Clearly from the tank on the screen we've already beat that. So we're looking at the top 5 worst performing tanks over the last update, and coming in at number 5 is the STA. Now to be fair, I'm not surprised at this tank. You know, it's a good tank, it's not a bad tank at all, but it is a very difficult tank to play. It's got no armor, does have a decent gun, but people are just not performing well. 44.9% win rate over the last update in this tank. Yes, see, yeah, clearly people are just not performing well. So like yesterday, are we actually going to see any tier 2s, tier 3s, tier 1s? Because clearly those are the tiers that are made for winning. So are we actually going to see any lower tier tank actually performing bad? Let's find out, and let's move on to tank number 2. And tank number 2, or tank number 4, shall I say, the SU-101. 44.8% win rate over the last update. So out of 2 tanks, we've seen 2 tier 8 tanks. Are we going to see any lower? We'll find out. Now, the SU-101, it's got a nice gun. It's got absolutely shite gun depression. The armor as well is absolutely shocking. So yeah, again, yeah, I'm surprised at this being in the list, but yeah, it's because it's got no armor, because it's got no gun depression, people are just not performing in the tank at all. So yeah, I'm a little bit surprised, but not overly, you know. When I see it in the list, I was like, oh my god. It was like, oh, okay. Again, we have seen it in the list before. And yeah, clearly people just don't perform well in the tank. And I do understand, because I took a couple of, I took the tank out for a couple of games, and I really did struggle. I'm not going to lie, I really did struggle. As I said, the gun is nice. The penetration is very nice, on your heat especially. But yeah, it's all about the armor, and it's all about the gun depression in this thing. That really makes it difficult to play. So yeah, that is tank number 4. Moving on to tank number 3, and it's actually a tank I really love. And it is the Charioteer. Now, as I've explained, I honestly, I love this tank. I think it's fantastic. I can understand how some people don't perform in the tank, because it's got no armor. You know, it has got Hesh, so as long as you know how to use the Hesh, as long as you use it right, then you'll actually perform well in the tank. Now, I actually lost most of my games in the tank, so again, this is the worst performing tank according to win rate, but it's not the worst performing tank when it comes to sort of damage. And I should imagine some people do actually get quite high damage in this tank compared to the win rate. So this tank has the same as the SU-101, 44.8% win rate over the last update. And as I said, I think it is a fantastic tank. The Hesh is absolutely brilliant. The speed boost is absolutely brilliant. I think without that speed boost, it would kind of be just an average tank. Now, it is marked as a tank destroyer, but you don't really play it as a tank destroyer, to be fair. If you play it as a tank destroyer, you'll be playing it wrong. Again, you can penetrate a lot of people with that Hesh, so make sure you do try to use that Hesh, because it really will help. So let's move on to tank number 2. And again, we've got a tier 8. So that is 4 tier 8s in this top 5 at the moment. And of course, it is the Cent Mark 1. 44.6% win rate over the last update puts this tank as the 2nd worst performing tank for the last update. Now, I do agree, to be fair, it's not the best of tanks, but ever since Wargaming did give it that Hesh, you know, they gave the whole line kind of, they changed the ammo, they gave it Hesh, and yeah, it does perform better. You could do a lot more damage, and yeah, the penetration for the Hesh again is actually really good. But yeah, you know, people are not going to perform well. It's not like a standout tank. It really isn't a standout tank. Again, with the Hesh, you can actually perform better, much better than you usually can. Now, again, the alpha is low, but the reload is pretty decent, and that's what makes the Hesh really nice, because it still has the high DPM, the sort of the better rate of fire. But yeah, it's about that alpha really, and with the Hesh, you can at least get that alpha up. So 44.6% win rate for the Cent Mark 1. Moving on to the worst performing tank in the game right now. And it is the Indien-Panzer. Yes, the worst performing tank is the Indien-Panzer. Now, I used to actually like this tank. I think the tank was pretty solid back in the day. Had, you know, the speed was okay. The armor, yeah, the armor's not great, but the turret was decent. And yeah, you can get bounces on the turret. And for me, it was really all about that DPM. The gun is nice, you know, the rate of fire, 5.5 second reload. But clearly, it's the worst performing tank. 44.1% win rate for the last update. So yeah, just people are clearly not performing. And, you know, playing it, I did the damage. I didn't get the win. Well, I think I'm not sure if I got the win actually, but because I didn't watch the remaining of the game. But yeah, you know, even against tier 7s, you can struggle. And of course, we've got 3 tanks down here that 2 of them being the Annihilators, we do really want to be careful about. So we're just trying to get their attention really, because I do have the ISU 152 up there, and I'm going to need his help. I'm really going to need his help. The Blaze behind is shooting me. Go away, Blaze. I could really do without you being there, to be honest. But yeah, you know, Indien-Panzer, 44.1%. So it clearly is not performing on the battlefield. So let me know in the comments below, are you actually surprised at any of these? I'm surprised at a few of them. I'm surprised that they are all tier 8s, to be fair. You would have thought some tier 10s, you know, because there are a lot of people that play the game that just go to tier 10 very quickly, like really quickly, in fact too quickly. So I'm very surprised that there is no tier 10 tank, especially like a tier 10 premium, because there's people out there that are very impatient and they don't really know how to play the game, but yet they go and buy a tier 10. So yeah, I'm actually surprised that there isn't a tier 10 premium tank on this list, to be fair. You know, something like a 121B that people don't generally perform well in. But, you know, all tier 10s, and none of them are actually premium tanks. They are all tech tree tanks. Now, look at this shot here. Oh, my God. How can I do that? Absolutely dreadful. But at least I managed to kill him until I get around this corner, and there is a tank just sitting there waiting for me to come around, and boom. Bad T49. Bad. So again, as I've said, let me know if you are surprised at any of these 5 tanks that just don't perform well. Let me know in the comments below. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.